because that's what we have at women's strawweight when Weili Zhang and Rose Namajunas are going to fight for the title in the co-main event. Women's strawweight is by far the most interesting women's division because of the fighters at the top. You've got the champ, Zhang Weili. You've got Rose Namajunas. You've got Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and hopefully someday we have Tatiana Suarez as well. And those are, I think, the four like most dominant, complete women's MMA fighters, especially that you have amassed in one division. So I think Joanna is a great measuring stick. Both Rose and Weili have gone 25 minutes with Joanna. In my opinion, Joanna won both those fights, but we did get to see the striking on display from both of them, because it's a real test that women's strawweight struggled with for a while, but they both definitely met the test and showed they were up to task. Rose, like I was just saying in the last bit against Andrade, she looked phenomenal at times. Her movement is so great, just staying defensively out of the way, having fantastic timing on her jabs and straights. She landed so many of those in both fights against Andrade. She's got the grappling that can turn the fight in her favor, give her one more tool in the jackknife, so to speak, to mix it up. You've seen her go to that, sometimes just very quickly at times, but it's always in the back pocket there. The leg kick timing she showed was fantastic against Andrade. They were few and far between, but just a really simple, efficient strike she mixed it up with. I think the striking is as high level as it gets in women's MMA, and I think you can say the same about Zhang Weili, as she showed in that fight of the year against Joanna Jędrzejczyk last March. It was such a close one. I still think Joanna won it, but if Weili probably took it off her power, having a more visible impact and causing that welt, but she put out a crazy volume against Joanna, and just like Rose, great movement. All the strikes she throws are so fluid and technical, and I'm just so excited to see like these two really high-level complete strikers go at it, because I feel like they both kind of reached that high efficient level of striking, and it's going to be really interesting to see if we have some sort of rock, paper, scissors situation where Andrade does kind of well against Rose. Weili obviously gets Andrade out of the way in no time at all. They've both had their ups and downs over time against Joanna. Obviously, Rose also knocked Joanna out once. And I think Rose has a bit of like a technical edge just in terms of making reads, being a bit smarter and better with the shot selection, but I think Weili has a bit of a physical edge, being bigger, stronger, a little more explosive. And I think, like I said, when I was talking about Andrade just moments ago, in the matchups with Rose and Andrade, you saw Rose start really, really well, but then the athleticism and physical advantage Andrade had kind of slowly took over in both fights. In the first one, Andrade gets the knockout. In the second one, it's only a 3-round fight, but the third round was by far Andrade's best round, the round she won in that fight. And it would have been really interesting to see what a fourth and fifth round would have looked like. So I'm curious if Rose's camp and corner is thinking about that, if she's thinking about that, how she's going to try and maintain the pace she can set or wants to set early over 5 rounds, because I think Weili can do a lot of what Andrade did in not being dissuaded, continuing to come forward, answering a shot with her own shot. We saw that in the Joanna fight, and landing with power. So I really don't know. I think these two both do everything so well on the feet. And it's going to be really interesting to see like which dominates, the slightly more technical striker or the slightly more athletic fighter. It should be a fantastic co-main event.